Well, thanks for braving the rain to get here. We were just joking that it seems like every year there's like a torrential downpour on the day of the BITS annual meeting, but we can be cozy indoors here. Welcome to the Berkeley Initiative for Transparency in the Social Sciences 2016 annual meeting. Folks have come from all over the world to be here. We have folks here from South Africa, Denmark, Netherlands, Canada, Cameroon, Los Angeles. So really some of the most exotic places around. It's just wonderful to have this meeting again. This is actually the 5th year in a row that we're having a gathering of this kind, and every year has gotten, I think, bigger and better. So thanks for taking part and being part of this research community. We have a really neat afternoon in store and then a great day tomorrow. What I want to do for just a few minutes to open up is give you a little bit of a review of what the initiative has been doing over the last year, what some of our plans are for the next year. A lot of you have been involved in some of this work, so you're familiar with it. Some of it's maybe new for you, but we're really keen to let you know what we're up to and brainstorm over the next couple days ways to collaborate and work together. Of course, one of the great things about getting everybody here together is even beyond just collaborating directly with BITS, through all these meetings, there's always so many neat collaborations and partnerships that are just forged among participants. The coffee breaks and the dinners and the lunches are always, super exciting. I hear really neat conversations going on as well. So just a little bit of background on where we're coming from and what BITS is about. I think many of us are here in this room because we've recognized the problems with, limitations of the kinds of research work that goes on in our fields, the kind of research we've done, our colleagues have done. And really that was the genesis of some of the early BITS gatherings, was this recognition across disciplines from economics, poli-sci, psychology, biostatistics, and many other fields that we actually face a lot of the same challenges when we're doing research, interpreting research. And so the kind of credibility crisis that Ioannidis and others have written about comes in many forms. There's increasing recognition that there's a lack of reproducibility of many important findings in social science, and if you try to replicate them, it doesn't work. There's growing awareness about just how pervasive specification searching and p-hacking can be and how misleading a set of results can be in a given article. There's also more and more evidence about how pervasive publication bias is. So when you take all these things together, it makes you wonder about what is solid and what isn't solid. There surely is a lot of social science research that is solid, and other parts of social science that aren't. But our goal in BITS and our goal, with our partner organizations, many of whom are represented here today, is to really increase that proportion, to give us more and more confidence that the research that we're reading, the research that we're doing is credible. So a number of our partners, folks from Center for Open Science, are taking part. A number of our funders are here, donors are here. So we're really excited to kind of share this space with the community today. So what does BITS do? Once there's recognition about the problem, BITS works on coming up with solutions and advancing solutions in a lot of different areas. And really, as we've grown over the last few years, we've taken on new activities. Some of you have actually participated in some of these activities. One of the things that we're really interested in doing is helping to advance new norms. So when there are new practices that arise that can help us deal with the problems that we've identified, pushing to make sure those norms spread, making sure there's awareness of these problems, and carrying out the kinds of trainings and education and discussion dialogue that needs to happen for them to be adopted. So that's been central to BITS's mission from the very start. We've actually made training and education very central to what we do. We've held 3 annual summer institutes so far. A number of people in the room have attended those. We've actually hosted or co-hosted 17 workshops at this point over the last few years, with many hundreds of students and faculty researchers taking part in those. And I think the trainings have taken place in 10 countries at this point. So this is really where the power of this network is evident, which is BITS staff and faculty have partnered with collaborators internationally to really spread the word about new tools and new solutions to these problems. We've also partnered with organizations like the Poverty Action Lab, Innovations for Poverty Action, the African Population Health Research Center in Nairobi, and other groups. I think the African School of Economics. So a lot of international groups that we've partnered with to hold trainings. And that's a really core part of our mission. Beyond that, we've also tried to advance research in this area. So we've managed to secure funds that have allowed us to fund research projects. I think about 20 research projects so far in this area of research transparency, reproducibility, and meta-research. And I'll say a word or two about that later as well. So these are really some of the core activities. You're also going to be hearing about our sort of the final pillar of what BITS does, which is recognition later on today when we award the Lemur Rosenthal Prize winners for this year. So these are exceptional individuals who have really advanced the field of research transparency, either in their own work, tool development, or teaching. And it's just super exciting that these folks are in the room today, that we get to interact with them and recognize their accomplishments in advancing the goals of our research community. Before this session, we were chatting with Brian Nosek from Center for Open Science. Skip was there, a bunch of other folks. And we were just talking about how the terrain in this area has changed in a few years. So when we had the first meeting of this kind 4 years ago, there were one or two of us here and there in our own disciplines doing some work on these topics, very isolated. But the research transparency movement exists now. There is a research transparency and reproducibility community, and that in itself is a big step forward. So again, it's really exciting that BITS can be one of the hubs for this community and try to advance this agenda. So let me highlight a couple things just to let you know some of the stuff we're most excited about working on this year. Again, I see a lot of familiar faces in the room of folks who have attended some of the summer institutes over the last few years, including in this very room, some of the training. So there's been 3 so far. So a big accomplishment for the BITS team this year is we actually secured funding from the U.S. National Institutes of Health, NIH, to fund 5 additional years of the Summer Institute training. So it's 2017 to 2021. It's a real vote of confidence in what we're doing, and it gives us really long time horizons to deepen what we've been doing so far. And we've renamed the Summer Institute the Research Transparency and Reproducibility Trainings, RT2. So it could sort of sound a little bit like a Star Wars droid. That was the goal. I don't know if we succeeded, but each year there's been between 30 to 40 postdocs, grad students, assistant professors, full professors across disciplines, and a lot of the folks who have taken part in those trainings have gone back to their home institutions and incorporated a lot of this material into their own courses, into their own research. And again, it's a very important part of what we do. We've also received funding this year to host large international summer workshops. So we've had smaller workshops in 10 different countries, but the plan is to have a large one actually in Europe. We haven't identified the exact location yet, but there's several potential partners in Europe, summer 2017, at the scale of this Summer Institute. So again, we're hoping to keep advancing the agenda in this coming year. Another very important part of the agenda for BITS, and something that again underlies all that we do, is training, getting the word out. We've been working over the last year or so to put together an online course, a MOOC, a massive open online course. Put a lot of staff time and effort into it. We've worked hard to put something together that is approachable, accessible, has really nice graphics, and really usable for all you guys. And we've put it together. It's going to be launching in early 2017. There's 8 different modules to the course, and I think 40 different videos. So it's typical if you've seen online courses. They're sort of bite-sized videos, 5 to 15-minute videos on lots of different topics. So it's something you can really customize in your own teaching. It's something where if you want to learn about a particular topic, you can find it. If you want your students to learn about a particular topic, you can assign a couple of these modules to them. So it's really meant to be utilized. And beyond even just the online videos, there are problem sets and quizzes, and there's going to be a discussion forum in the online group. So it's really a lot of material distilled down into an online course. And I think for many people in this room who are working in this area, teaching on these topics, hopefully it'll be a useful resource. And I just want to acknowledge actually the project scientist for BITS, Garrett Christensen, who's back there, really worked a ton on developing the materials for this course. So did Cheyenne Kashani from BITS and SIGA. So a lot of work went into this. We're really proud of it. And in fact, we have the trailer for the course. It's going to be going live on FutureLearn, which is a online course portal. And if I press this button, it's supposed to, oh, yes, it worked. This is the trailer. Openness and reproducibility are critical to the capacity of research to advance knowledge and to effectively influence public policy and other important decisions. Since 2012, we at the Berkeley Initiative for Transparency in the Social Sciences, or BITS, have been working to support graduate students, researchers, program evaluators, and policymakers like many of you to improve the transparency of their research. I'm Ted Miguel, and I'm the faculty director of BITS and a professor of economics here at the University of California, Berkeley, in the United States. In this course, we'll discuss the major transparency and reproducibility issues across the social sciences today, including the problems of fraud, publication bias, and data mining. We'll also discuss many of the emerging solutions to these problems, including pre-registering studies and writing pre-analysis plans, performing replications, conducting meta-analyses, making our research data open and available to others, and visualizing our data in ways that are even-handed and effective. In recent years, there's been a lot of good work across social science disciplines, in economics, political science, psychology, and other fields, to better understand our methodological shortcomings and find new approaches to make research more transparent, more reproducible, and ultimately more credible. But scholars in these disciplines rarely talk to each other directly, and doing so is one of the goals of this course. You'll be introduced to the most important studies and lessons, tools and techniques drawn from across the social sciences to help you improve your research. Join us and become a part of the growing movement for open social science research. So huge props to Katie from BITS. Is Katie back there? For working to put that together. I want to take that course, other than the annoying narrator. But so really, again, think about checking out that course, using the materials, the problem sets, and we really think this could be important for our community and getting the word out and promoting these methods. Let me tell you about a couple of other activities within BITS, and then I'll run through the agenda for the afternoon, and I'll get you to the real reason you're here, which is to hear our keynote speakers and to see our prize recipients for the afternoon. BITS over the last year has expanded our internal research capacity with Garrett, our project scientist, a number of graduate student researchers who are working on particular research projects. And so that's another thing that we're excited about. So there's really a couple strands of what BITS is doing in the research sphere. One is we've secured funding, which we compete out as grants. As I mentioned, we've distributed 20 grants so far for work in the transparency and reproducibility space. And you'll hear about a few of those projects tomorrow at the session on new research findings. So we've really seeded, I think, some very exciting research there. But we're also doing some more research in-house. Garrett and I are working on a very detailed survey focused on one field, on economics, for the Journal of Economic Literature, which we hope can really tie together a lot of debates and strands in our own field in a way that hasn't been done before. We are also working with collaborators at Yale and elsewhere to try to understand the effect of data sharing and open materials on the influence of research, the later citations of papers. There's actually a number of natural experiments around journals that forced authors to make their data and code publicly available that we're going to exploit, or we've collected a lot of the data already that we are exploiting, and we're tracking the later citation counts of the articles published just before and after those policy changes to test this idea that, when you make your materials open, it isn't necessarily costly to you at all. It may actually increase your influence, the influence of your work, which is something we as scholars all aspire to do. So we're going to see if that's the case or not in our research. We've also started a really exciting new project called the 3S study, State of Social Science Study, where we'll be reaching out to representative samples of scholars, hopefully representative samples of scholars across social science disciplines, to gauge where they're at in their attitudes and practices in the transparency space. There's a lot we don't even know about what people are doing or thinking or what their attitudes are in this area, and we hope to really increase understanding in this area. And then the goal of this study is to continue this over time, to see how attitudes evolve over time and really understand where progress is being made in which communities. So this is some of the new research that's coming out, and we're excited to get people's reactions to them and share them, and really start a conversation around these issues with everybody in this room. Okay, so let me tell you a little bit about the agenda today, and I'll also touch on the agenda for tomorrow. So following my talk, we're really honored to have Professor Lorena Barba speaking. Kelsey will introduce Lorena, but she's a leader in the transparency space. I'm really excited to hear what she has to say, excited that she made it here for the conference. That'll be followed by a second keynote talk by my colleague Stefano Della Vigna. So we have two really exciting talks on the way. That'll be followed by a coffee break. Following the coffee break, we will launch into the prize ceremony for the winners of the Lima Rosenthal Prize of 2016. In addition to awarding the prizes, the prize winners will take part in a discussion here where you'll be able to ask questions, we'll brainstorm, we'll ask them, these are leaders in the space, what they think the key next steps, key next issues are. So we're really keen to hear their perspective and share it. There'll be a reception at that point, and I think a lot of useful conversation and networking, followed by a film screening downstairs. And I think you guys will really enjoy the film. We're delighted to have a Q&A with the director. So, I think a really neat afternoon and evening is in store for us here. Tomorrow, we're going to reconvene in this space up here. And tomorrow is going to be sort of seminar-style research presentations. I think there's going to be 6 research presentations. People basically submitted papers, and we picked some of the most exciting topics out there. In fact, there were so many submissions, it was hard to figure out whom to get to present. But these are, again, you'll get cutting edge. You'll see the cutting edge research, unpublished cutting edge research in the transparency and reproducibility space tomorrow morning. There'll be lunch, and then we have a roundtable discussion in the afternoon with journal editors, on what many of us see as a frontier topic. In recent years, in several fields, but not most, but in several fields, a new article format has started gaining ground, and that's the article format sometimes called registered reports, results blind review, the idea being that a lot of research can be evaluated even before results come in and are written up based on the research design, the question, the data. And this is potentially a very important tool for getting around publication bias, because now if there's results blind review, you're evaluated on the quality of design and data rather than just your findings sounding sexy or making sense to your discipline, things like that. So we're going to have an open discussion about this. There's still some open questions about how to adapt this model maybe across fields, but we've made progress in the last year or two. So I see that as being a really exciting discussion to have. We'll follow with an open discussion session, and this actually has become a bit of a tradition in BIT's annual meetings, where Kevin Esterling and I, who co-hosted the first meeting of this 4 or 5 years ago, have an open discussion about exciting areas for collaboration, open questions with the community. So this is a broad, open discussion and roundtable that we think has often yielded really exciting ideas. So you can see there's a combination of presentations, discussion, but BITS is meant to be a forum for the community. We're so excited you guys are here. And let me not delay any longer. I'll call maybe Kelsey up, who will introduce Lorena. So again, thanks to you all for being here.